Alright, so good evening to all of you. Let's talk about some important developments which happened in the month of October and November. Those are given in the Pratyogita Darpan, again the most desirable magazine among the youths. The November month is it was a very sadful month because some important incidents happened which shook the conscience of all the people of this country. And the very first one is the death of Fatima Bibi. Fatima Bibi was the first woman who became the judge in the Supreme Court of India. Judge, not get confused with the Chief Justice, only judge. But the kind of difficulties she faced, I will discuss in a while. So this Fatima Bibi, she died. She was from Kerala. Initially, she was appointed as a judge in the Kerala High Court. From there, she was elevated in the Supreme Court of India as a judge. This Fatima Bibi became an inspiration for rest of the women and also for the Muslim women who want to be the part of Indian judiciary. One thing I would like to tell here, and that is related to the science, because look, you may have heard there is a huge scarcity of the women in the Indian judicial system. Why it is so? The science gives a reason that when you understand or study the brain is divided in two parts, the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. This is the left and this one is the right. It is said that the left hemisphere is more developed in the men and the right one, this right hemisphere, is more developed in the woman. The left hemisphere, this left part of the brain, it is more dedicated to the rationality, to the cognitive thinking, to calculate something numerically. And this right part, it is more inclined towards the emotion. That's why we say that women are more emotional than the men. By the way, some people are saying that no, men are more emotional than the women, but the problem is that men don't show their emotion the way women show. I cannot give any kind of conformity, but the science says so. You can very easily understand that this left part, which is more developed in the men, if it is related to the rationality and the cognitive thinking, these things are more required in the judiciary. Because if any judge is emotional and he is seeing the crowd which was seen during the Nirbhaya, the whole country agitated and asked to the death penalty. If the judges were emotional in nature, they definitely would have accepted the demand of the people. But if judiciary cannot function through emotions, it functions having the rationality on the backdrop. So that's why you can say, because of the lacuna of this kind of development which is related to the left part of the brain, a woman lack in the Indian judicial system. By the way, it is not the gospel truth. There are exceptions, and ultimately your hard work plays the significant role, which Fatima Bibi has proved it. Another development, again this is just little sadful because the cyclone Medhil Medhil. It was experienced in the Bay of Bengal in the mid of the November. Interestingly, in the mid of the November, a festival in Meghalaya that is called Cherry Blossom. Cherry Blossom. It was also celebrated, but this cyclone Medhil devastated their preparation and their smile which they had brought into their faces. The cyclones, those are experienced in the Arabian Sea and in the Bay of Bengal. What happens that rotationally, the countries those are connected, rotationally they give name to the cyclone in a sequential manner. Rotationally in a sequential manner, they give name to the cyclone. This time, this Medhil name was selected or was given by the country called Maldives. Maldives. Okay, so by the way, much devastation did not happen as nowadays our science and technological development have reached to the level where we can get a clear information of these cyclones before the actual occurrence. There is one boy who is from Bangalore. He is only 10 years old. His name is Vihan Talya Vikas. Any idea this boy came in the news? For what reason? You know, we know, we have heard the Oscar award. Oscar is given in the field of movies. So this boy became famous for getting the Oscar in the field of wildlife photograph. By the way, technically it is not an Oscar, but the kind of stature this award has, we call it that this is the Oscar of this wildlife photography. So this boy who is 10 years old, who hails from Bengaluru, one of the most technological upgraded city in India. This Vihan Talya Vikas went outskirt of the Bengaluru on a certain day, and he saw that on his stone there was a picture, and in that picture Lord Krishna, he was playing the flute like this, and just beside that figure of Lord Krishna that was carved on that stone, a spider was also there, and this boy, he clicked that picture, that photograph, and this was submitted to the Natural History Museum. It is based in London, and around more than 50,000 photographs were sent, which are based upon this wildlife. And this Vihan Talya Vikas was the winner. By the way, there were some other winners also, because in his category he was the winner. So that's why this Vihan Talya Vikas, who earned this recognition, the Oscar of wildlife photography, a Bengaluru based boy, only 10 years old. So Lord Krishna, I think, helped him the way Lord Krishna helped Draupadi. Who was snatching the sari of Draupadi? Dushasana. And the sari was not getting in debt. So whenever we are in trouble, so we should certainly remember. By the way, we human beings, we always remember the God when we are in difficulty. When the New Year party is going on, all the gods disappear. But Mirabai, what she did? When she asked the boon, when the God came before her, that I want only sadness in my life so that I could remember forever. Till my last breath, I could remember you. So the next news is related not directly with the Mira Bai, but certainly we can relate it indirectly, because two cities in India have been recognized as the creative cities under the UNESCO network. These creative cities, the one is Kozhikode, and the second is Gwalior. Kozhikode has been selected for the literature under the UNESCO Creative Cities Network, and the Gwalior is for the music. Tansen was born, whose name was Ram Tanu Pandey. So Tansen is also called the Sur Samrat. So it is very natural why Gwalior would not be selected as the city of music. Tansen was also famous in India, or you can say in the Indian history. There are two people who are known for singing the Rag Malhar. The one is Tansen himself, and the other one is Mirabai, whose reference I was giving just a minute before. So what was this Rag Malhar? Rag Malhar, a kind of a style of singing. Whenever it was being sung, a torrential rainfall was experienced. By the way, how scientifically it is, I cannot give you any guarantee, but it is believed that if the rain is not happening and the Tansen is invited and he starts singing this Rag Malhar, certainly the rainfall will occur. Sometimes I think Tansen must have born somewhere in Rajasthan so that we could have solved this rain deficiency problem. These two cities, Kozhikode and Gwalior, they became the part of UNESCO Creative Cities Network. Other than this, the news that is related to the BRICS. I think this news I have already discussed in my previous lecture, but anyway, actually the BRICS summit took place where? In South Africa. And we know that the summits of BRICS always take place in a rotational basis. This is the South Africa, so the next summit should take place in Brazil. This was in 2023, so in 2024 it should be held in Brazil, and after that Russia, India, China, and this is the pattern which is followed in the BRICS summit. So according to this pattern, if South Africa arranged the 2023 BRICS summit, so 2024 BRICS summit, where it will be arranged? Where? Brazil. But yes, this time this will not be arranged in Brazil. Why? Because we should not forget that recently the G20 summit took place in India. And the next responsibility to handle the G20 was given to whom? To Brazil. And Brazil is saying that I am not capable enough to manage the two things together. Either I can manage the G20, which he cannot lead. As G20, I would say it represents the more population, more territory, and the more world leaders. So nobody wants to leave this kind of opportunity. But it is not possible due to logistics problems, management. Brazil is saying that I cannot handle two things together. That's why this year I will passing the buck on the Russia. So Russia will be managing the next BRICS summit, which will take place in the year 2024, which obviously should have managed by Brazil. The important thing which happened in this 2023 summit in South Africa, the 6 new members have been made the part of this BRICS. By the way, obviously they will be the part from the 1st of January 2024 onwards. So what are these 6 members? And from the 1st of January 2024 onwards, this BRICS, which was till now the 5 nations organization, will be known as the 11 nations organization. And what are those 6 countries? The one is Argentina, Egypt, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Iran, and the last one is Ethiopia. Thank God it is not Somalia. Otherwise, he would be giving some technical knowledge about this ocean piracy or sea. So these are the 6 countries which became the part of this BRICS summit, which held South Africa in 2023. As I was discussing about G20, so there is a concept called a Troika. G20 Troika. This was also asked when you were giving your interview in that organization. Troika, what is this Troika? If I ask the G20 Troika in 2023, what will be the answer? Troika is basically the combination of the 3 countries, as G20 does not have any secretariat. Therefore, the responsibility to take care of this G20 belongs to 3 countries. Troika stands for the 3. The one country where this G20 is going on, or which is managing in the current situation, let's assume India. And the one country where this G20 summit has been held, and the remaining one where it will be held. So the one which is in present, one which will be in future, and one which was in past. So the combination of these 3 countries stands for the Troika. So if I talk the Troika of G20 in 2023, then India will come in between, because India was in present. And before India, it was Indonesia. And this India handled the responsibility of G20 to Brazil. So the Troika for 2023 will be IIB, Indonesia, India, and Brazil. The examiner can twist and he may ask the Troika in 2024. So this will be removed. India will still remain, and Brazil will be there, and the next one will be, yes, South Africa. Because the G20 summit in 2025 will take place in South Africa. IBSA is also an organization. All right. Now there are some awards, and before that award I want to discuss a day that is 12th of August. 12th of August. International Elephant Day. Okay, Elephant Day. The theme of this Elephant Day, by the way, why this day is celebrated? Look, elephants are facing a lot of struggle, especially regarding their habitat, poaching, the teeth, as they believe so many medicines can be made and people can be immortal. The same problem is in case of rhino. And you know, the horns of rhino are much more costly than cocaine or the gold anywhere in the world. So these elephants are also facing the same kind of challenges, mainly the poaching, how to protect their natural habitat. So while celebrating this 12th of August, we generate an awareness in the world so that elephants could be protected, who are one of the best friends of the human being. The theme of this year's Elephant Day was ending the wildlife poaching. By the way, this 12th of August is more important. Okay, theme is related to this ending the wildlife something. So you can go through by yourself. Could you tell me which one is that country where the maximum number of elephants are found? Maximum. I was expecting this answer. That's why I asked the question. Actually, Thailand is known for the white elephants, the land of white elephants, Thailand. But the maximum number of elephants reside in Botswana. This is a country within a country, within South Africa, Botswana. Such a tiny and small country possesses the maximum number of elephants in the world. By the way, it is sometimes very difficult to count the number of elephants because elephants don't follow the state borders. They keep on going from one country to another and coming from another country to a different country. But whatever the present information is available, Botswana, there is one exercise also that is called nomadic elephant. It is first time when it was asked in the question paper, my friend called me that Virendra, nomadic elephant, where it is conducted. So without thinking in a fraction of a second, I told that Thailand, because elephant is related to the Thailand. We have been studying this thing from our childhood, since our childhood. But the right answer was Mongolia. Okay, so let's talk about the exercise as well, and this time I will be discussing the exercise that is one of the most significant exercises, Malabar. Malabar. By the way, Malabar is a coastal name, yes, connected to Kerala. But this Malabar exercise, look, this initially it used to be a bilateral exercise between India and USA. India and USA. But in 2015, Japan also became the part of this Malabar. And in 2020, Australia became the part of this Malabar. So At present, the Malabar exercise or the Malabar represents the four countries: India, USA, Japan, and Australia. The objective or the aim of this Malabar exercise is to bring a sort of transparency and the easiness in the Pacific Ocean and in the Indian Ocean. And this exercise is performed alternatively. If it is performed in the Indian Ocean this time, then next time it will be performed in the Pacific Ocean. So the important thing is this, that we need to remember at least the countries those are related to this Malabar exercise. With USA, we have so many exercises as I have discussed in my previous lecture: Corps India, Yuddha Abhyas, Satrujit, Vajra Prahar. There is an exercise called Srilaks, Miss Sri Lanka. Mitra Shakti is also with Sri Lanka. Varun, France. Surya Kiran with Nepal. Gimex, Japan. Simbex, Singapore. Dharma Guardian, Russia. Japan. Russia, I think Indra something. Now, one award is JCB Literary Prize. JCB Literary Prize. What JCB denotes here? JCB. JCB is the same JCB which we use to dig the earth or in the construction work. Okay, don't think this JCB is different. Because this award is sponsored by the JCB organization, that's why it is related to the JCB literary award. This has been given to a person whose name is Purmal Murugan. Purmal Murugan. This Purmal Murugan wrote a novel or a book called Firebird. Firebird. So for this Firebird, this Purgal Murugan, by the way, this Firebird originally was in Tamil language. Later on it was translated in English, the way it happens in case of International Booker Prize, which I discussed in my previous lecture. There was a person whose name was George Janus Dova. He wrote a book called Time Shelter. Time Shelter was originally in which language? It was in Bulgarian language, which was translated by Angela Rodel in English language. So in the same way, this JCB Literary Prize was awarded to this Purmal Murugan as he wrote the book Firebird, and this Firebird was translated into English by a person whose name was Janini Kannan. Okay, Janini Kannan. All right. So this was with respect to this JCB Literary Prize. One more person, that is Indian origin. Basically, she is an Indian origin, but now she lives in a different country. In Oxford University belongs to which country? England.
Okay.
Yes. So she is a faculty of English department in United Kingdom inside Oxford University. Her name is Nandini Das. Okay, Nandini Das. And she has been awarded with a prize called British Academy Book Prize. British Academy Book Prize. And this British Academy Book Prize has been given for writing a book called Courting India. By the way, the the full name is quite lengthy. Courting India, England, India, and something like this. But if we remember only this Courting India, because the book which she has written, it is based upon the Sir Thomas Roe, the first ambassador, British ambassador who came to India, and how his advent went is related to the colonization. She gave a completely different perspective of the advent of the Sir Thomas Roe, the first ambassador, and how it was related with the rest of the journey of the British, and how the handful people started ruling over such a vast country like India. So she mainly gave the emphasis on the Sir Thomas Roe. So Courting India. The last thing of my today's lecture is again related to the book, and that is Smoke and Ashes. Smoke and Ashes. This book has been written by a very famous writer who is Amitabh Ghosh. Amitabh Ghosh. So Ghosh is there, he should be from Bengal. Amitabh Ghosh. This Smoke and Ashes is based upon the opium trade which was happening between India, Britain and China, and how it impacted India's economy. The way she gave emphasis over the Thomas Roe, in the same way this opium trade, he interpreted the opium trade and how it impacted the India's economy. Because there are some chapters in history where a lot of research work has been done, and some chapters or some incidents are completely apart, or means they face scarcity of the light. So this opium trade, the Smoke and Ashes, the book written by this Amitabh Ghosh, in which he has tried his level best to elaborate the opium trade which was happening between India, China and Britain. This Amitabh Ghosh was also awarded with the Gyanpith Award. And you can understand Gyanpith Award is the highest literary award in India. So you can understand what kind of writer is he. He was also awarded this Dan David Award. Any idea? Dan David Award belongs to which field? Dan David Award is the highest award in the field or in history subject. The way in mathematics there is an award, Abel Prize. In the same way in history, if anyone is getting this award, Dan David, it means you can understand the Nobel of history, I would say.
एक दिन ओझा सर भी पाएंगे.
Yes, but I mean, students complain that except teaching, he does everything. But sometimes I think the videos, because his clips are only uploaded. Otherwise, I mean, anyway, we are no one to comment on such a high stature faculty who started his journey from Gorakhpur and nowadays ruling in Delhi. So this was as far as some important current affairs were concerned. We will be keep on continuing our journey and we will be discussing some important current affairs. Those will be coming in the pipelines. Namaskar.